fear mongering at the highest level, saying if you vote for the last sentence, if you vote for Adrian Kamada.
Do you mind if I reiterate that?
Go for it.
This is a direct quote from that League of Women Voters Forum. Quote, "This is dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. If Mr. Kamada is your DA, you will not be safe." That was on May 18th. That is a pretty bold statement to make.
Yeah, and so, from knowing her in the office and knowing her for, 8 years, she's pretty mellow, introverted person. She can get frustrated, but she's more, I was like, this isn't Staci, this isn't the person that I know, that I've seen. I think that there's been some coaching. I think that they've taken a political strategy
from Maggie or from
I can't say for sure, but I think that definitely that's part
some
of
influence.
That for sure, 100%. But
talk to me about the billboards, because I saw. I don't want to. It was kind of viral, I guess you could say, that clip. Shout out to Ryan Hudson of the debate that you guys did, Staci and Michael, and it seemed like that was a hot button issue, and I'm on the outside of that. I didn't really understand why.
Yeah, I didn't understand why either. So the billboards are legal billboards that are there, and I'm going to follow the law, and that's what it is.
These are the billboards in the wetlands specifically, right? That was the issue that there was.
And so, they keep going, the wetlands, and, trying to manufacture a controversy of them being in the wetlands. I grew up in Arcata. They're there before I was born.
Yeah, they've been there, I think, my whole lifetime. The ones coming in from 101.
Yeah. And so, you have 2 posts that aren't causing any significant environmental degradation whatsoever. So it's a manufactured, attack on me. And, it's funny because going into that particular debate, I knew it was going to be an away game.
Why so?
Well, one, the person that is like one of the managing people of that association, the Humboldt Realtor Association, he's one of the biggest supporters of Miss Eads. He's already donated through LLCs something like $3,000. So $1,500 is the limit, but if you have an LLC, you create an LLC, you can
little loophole.
Yeah. So I knew that going in, and it was interesting. So a lot of district attorney investigators were there, and all of them support me. So that's caused a lot of riff in the office. And so they were filling out questions. They're handing out cards, right, to ask questions. And all the people that I think they suspected were with me, they handed a yellow card. And then the other people got an orange card. So when they went up and asked questions, it was only the orange cards that were asked. So, I knew, it was basically, and then you get the first question to me, and it's for the group. And it's, you promised to never have your picture on a billboard in a wetland. And so I was like, well, that's clearly a question only for me.
Had you made that promise previously not to do that?
No.
Okay.
No, I never said anything like that. And so I was like, all right. I see how this is going to go. And, my first reaction was just to stand up and go, nope, and then sit back down. And then, the crowd, her surrogates, she's got 2 very bellicose type surrogates that are loud. They're like yelling at me from the crowd.
These are just spectators watching?
They're Eads
supporters.
Yeah, more like campaigners, like part of the team. One's a political consultant. The other one is a current employee in the office that is bragged about giving $3,000 again through an LLC because he's, going to get the ADA position. Just really kind of disgusting stuff, in my opinion.
Some backdoor action going on.
Absolutely. And so, in any event, they're like yelling at me, like, yeah, my buddies put up some billboards. And, they went from the environmental thing, because like, it's not an environmental issue. I was named environmental prosecutor for the state of California. I'm someone that's why I went into law before I became a prosecutor. And why I became a prosecutor, I started as the environmental prosecutor. And so the whole thing just was silly to me. And then they try to turn it into this transparency issue. Oh, he's being bought, dark money, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, no, it's literally my buddies from high school. Like,
Well, it seemed like there was a little hesitation because it was almost a two-part answer, right? You got up, spoke, Staci got up, spoke, and then you rebutted what she said.
yeah,
And it seemed like initially when you got up, you almost got the sense that you didn't know where the billboards came from, that you weren't connected to it, and then your additional response was that, okay, it was a group of my friends, but obviously I don't have any sway over them.
no. So yeah, well, if it came off like that, I've been very clear.
That was, to be fair, that was the only clip that I saw. I could
Oh.
not find the whole lecture for it, or the
Okay.
whole engagement, the public forum.
Yeah, I've been very clear that it is my buddies.
You knew that,
Yeah,
the whole time.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't.
Did you have anything to do with that, or they approached you afterwards and said, "Hey, we got this billboard for you"?
Well, no, they said, I want to do something for your campaign. And, they mentioned billboards, they mentioned some other ideas. And I was like, okay, well, if you guys are going to do that, I can't coordinate with you. That's what the law says. Like, if you have an independent expenditure committee,
You can't be a part of that.
I can, like, legally, I can give them pictures. I can talk to them. But I can't control how they spend their money. So with my committee, I control like what we use, Facebook ads, pay for loco ads. I make those decisions. I pay the check. They decide what to do with it. So I'm just putting my trust in them, essentially. And I didn't talk to them about any of it. And so, honestly, the first time I saw the billboard, I was like, whoa. I had an idea that that might be in the cards, for sure. But when I saw it actually up, it was different, So
Were you pretty surprised to get that as a question in that forum?
I wasn't surprised.
You knew it was coming.
Like I said, I knew that there was some pretty obvious things that this was a debate set up for Staci. I mean,
Yeah, but that specifically, had there ever been any talk of the wetland billboards?
No, there was Tibby does a lot of my social media stuff. Like both of us kind of do the social media together, but she really is the lead on the social media. And there was a guy on there that I responded to. I was like, yeah, this, he's like, that was like 2 days before or something. Before that thing, I was like, what's the deal with your billboards? It's not on your finance form. And I said, well, it's not on my finance form because I didn't pay for them. It's an independent expenditure committee. And he's like, oh, well, and then like kind of just pivoted to attacking me on something else. And turns out this person is Maggie Fleming's brother-in-law. And he just kept like attacking. And I think Tibby or I might have banned him at some point because it was just like constant. And that's, what we've endured over the last month. Their campaign, I think from noticing the support that we have just pivoted to attacking me in any way they can. And also at the same time, copying my policy ideas. It's been very, very strange. But, my philosophy has been, we stay above this. It's hard sometimes when you're being attacked to not want to respond. But in my experience, you're not going to be able to reason with these people. Like, you can present facts, you can present the legal argument or the logical argument, and they're just going to pivot to something else. And to untrue stuff. And we'll just keep doing it. And it's like, so just let them speak into the void. They end up just looking crazy.
Do you think that is coming from the campaign arm of Staci Ed's campaign? Because I didn't get that impression from her. She seems pretty level-headed. But in that clip that I saw, she was definitely, you two were definitely, the spotlight was on you two, going back and forth.
Well, yeah. I'd say before this, I worked with Staci for 6 years in the office, and then 2 years we've had cases against each other. And I've always liked Staci. I've never had a problem with Staci at all. But if you look at what's happened over the last couple of months, if you look at, I encourage you to look at the debate from the Women League of Voters. That was
I saw that one.
Keat, and spends the entire time talking about me. essentially, attacking me, and then uses her closing statement to. I don't know if she knows that they're lies, but to make fear mongering at the highest level, saying if you vote for the last sentence, if you vote for Adrian Kamada,
do you mind if I reiterate that?
Go for it.
This is a direct quote from that League of Women Voters Forum. Quote, "This is dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. If Mr. Kamada is your DA, you will not be safe." That was on May 18th. That is a pretty bold statement to make.
Yeah, and so, from knowing her in the office and knowing her for, 8 years, she's pretty mellow, introverted person. She can get frustrated, but she's more, I was like, this isn't Staci, this isn't the person that I know, that I've seen. I think that there's been some coaching. I think that they've taken a political strategy
from Maggie or from
I can't say for sure, but I think that definitely that's part
some
of
influence.
That for sure, 100%. But so yeah, and then just stay above the text if that's all they got, and it's funny. She's like, oh, he has a 33% conviction rate, and it's like. I don't know what's, and then I don't know because I'm not in the office, right? So I can't just look up my cases, but they went ahead and used the DA's office as, it's an arm of the campaign to look it all up and then put it on a blogger's site. It was very selective math to get to 33%, completely. And then, Maggie and Staci are both reiterating this thing. And it's like, it's a joke because, I was the person in the office to move fastest to doing homicides. Why would you put some incompetent attorney to move to homicides faster than anybody else? And Staci's been there for 20 years. She's never done a homicide trial. So it's like, what do you guys like? They can't even keep their attacks straight or logical, So, that it's frustrating, but again, it's like, we got to stay above it and stay with our message, which is changes are needed. And I think everything that they've done has just shown that change really is needed.
Why the hit job, if that's what it is? You think they're digging in now because your campaign's kind of taken off, and they see you as a threat?
Absolutely. They saw me as a threat from the beginning. I think Maggie saw me as a threat when I was in the office. There was a lot of people in the office, from law enforcement to other attorneys to investigators in the office that encouraged me to run for DA while I was in the office still, And at that point, I only had 5 years experience or whatever. But still was one of the senior attorneys in there doing homicides and doing them, once I started doing trials my way and doing things my way, I was successful. Anytime that I, took advice, suggestions, from Maggie or others, I realized quickly that I would get into a situation in trial and I'd be completely wrong by listening to their advice. And so it was kind of scary, honestly. And I wasn't the only person that felt like that. I mean, in the time that Maggie was the district attorney in the last 7.5 years, they've lost 23 attorneys.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's kind of surprising to hear because it sounds like they both have a lot of experience between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between experience and wisdom, right?
Yeah.